I grew up in a small village where everyone trusted one man, Prophet Musa. Everyone called him the Seer. People believed he could heal, predict the future, and even talk to the dead. People came from faraway places, bringing gifts, hoping he'd solve their problems. My mother was one of his followers. She swore he had saved her life once, healed her when she was sick and hopeless. So we were taught never to question him. But I always felt uneasy. One rainy season, Prophet Musa told the villagers a dark spirit was coming to punish us for our sins. He said he'd protect those who followed him and paid him for his holy oil. It was expensive, but people sold what they had to buy it. I watched families give up their last savings just to have a small bottle. My mother handed over her gold necklace, the only thing my father left behind before he died. She said the prophet needed it more than she did. I wanted to believe, but something didn't feel right. So one night I followed him. I was careful, keeping my distance, hiding behind trees and rocks. I followed him down the dirt path that led out of the village, expecting he'd go somewhere holy, maybe to pray. Instead, he went into a dark house on the edge of the forest. I knew that place. People said it was haunted, that it was where evil spirits lived. I waited in the dark, shivering, until he left. When I was sure he was gone, I crept up to the house and peeked inside. My heart nearly stopped. Inside were all the holy oils he sold to the villagers. They were just bottles filled with oil from the same red palm trees we had by the river. No holy herbs, no sacred ritual. Nothing. And beside them were piles of gold, jewelry, and money. The worst part. There was a doll made of sticks and cloth, with strange marks all over it, like the one my mother kept under her bed. The prophet told her it would protect her. But here it was, thrown on a pile with everyone else's. It felt like he'd stolen everyone's hope, everyone's fear, and used it to get rich. I ran home that night, sweating, heart pounding. I tried telling my mother, but she didn't believe me. She said I was cursed for doubting a holy man. She went to him the next day, told him everything. That night he visited our house. He stared at me with those cold, empty eyes, smiled and said, "You should be careful. Not everyone can handle the truth." After that, strange things started happening. My mother fell sick. The animals around our house began to die. And every night, I heard whispers outside my window. The village began to turn against me. They said I'd cursed myself by questioning the prophet, that I was the one bringing the dark spirits. I left the village not long after. I couldn't stay where no one believed me, where even my own mother looked at me with fear. But I kept the doll. It's the only thing I have left of home. Sometimes I think I hear it whispering at night, but I tell myself it's just the wind. I moved to the city, far away from the village and everyone who knew me. I thought I could leave it all behind. But the nightmares followed me. Every night, I saw Prophet Musa's cold, staring eyes, and I heard his voice telling me, "You should be careful. Not everyone can handle the truth." The words would echo in my head until I woke up drenched in sweat. I tried to push it away, tried to forget everything, but I couldn't shake the feeling that he was watching me. Somehow, he still had power over me. A few weeks later, I started noticing strange things happening in my apartment. I'd wake up to find the doll had moved to different places. It would be in the kitchen or in the bathroom, sometimes right by my bed. I'd put it back in the closet, but the next night, it would be out again. One night, I decided I'd had enough. I wrapped it in a cloth, took it down to the river by the city outskirts, and threw it in, hoping it would be swept away and out of my life forever. But that same night, I heard whispers again, like the ones outside my window back in the village. And when I turned on the lights, the doll was lying on the floor, dripping wet, right by my bed. I tried to convince myself it wasn't real, that it was all in my head. But then, one night I got a phone call from my cousin. She told me Prophet Musa had disappeared. He just left the village one night without saying a word, leaving behind all his riches, his holy oils and his followers. Some people thought he'd gone on a pilgrimage. Others said he'd been taken by the dark spirit he claimed to protect everyone from. Then she told me something else. The villagers found a doll exactly like the one I'd thrown in the river. Dirty, soaked, lying outside his abandoned house. The next morning I found a note pinned to my door. I don't know who put it there, and I didn't hear anyone come by. But the handwriting was shaky, almost like a child's. It read, "You're one of us now." After that, the doll didn't move. It stayed in one place, quiet, but I didn't dare throw it away again. I just left it there in the corner of my room where I could see it, where I could make sure it stayed still. Sometimes, though, I swear I feel it watching me. Now I live with the truth. And I understand what he meant when he said not everyone can handle it. 'Cause now I hear the whispers. They follow me in the street, echo in my head. They tell me things I don't want to know. Things about people, things that are going to happen, and things that already have. I don't tell anyone, though. No one would believe me. Just like no one believed me about the prophet. Sometimes I wonder if this is what he went through. If this is how he ended up like he did. Taking and taking, trying to make the voices go away, trying to drown them out with wealth and power. But now I know. No one escapes the truth. Not him. Not me.
This video is brought to you by Storyverse and Innocent Michael. If you want to see more of this content, like and subscribe, and don't forget to share.